specialist for new home buyers. When you are new, you try harder. We go the extra mile to make it happen for you. We know everything a new home buyer needs to know. We will secure a home loan that suits your circumstances. This is a good time to buy your first home with grants, stamp duty, and build a discount savings of up to $100,000. Get your pre-approval now. Contact us on 0466 110 995 or visit blessmoney.com.au. Honey, let's get in touch with Bless Money.
Hello and namaste. Welcome to the Ryan Show. This is Ryan Shrestha. This is a show about things that matter, and the topic for discussion today is parenting in Australia as a migrant. And today I have two special guests, Prakash Shrestha and Payal Shakya. So the reason I came up with this topic for discussion today is because I myself is a dad of two daughters who are almost teens. In fact, one of them is already a teen. And we as a migrant face a lot of issues, challenges bringing up our kids, because bringing them up is not an easy task. It requires a lot of patience, a lot of skills. And as a migrant especially, we have to balance between our own Nepalese way of parenting with the Australian way of parenting. And I have invited these two special guests today because one of them has already been through all that parenting stages. He has two grown-up kids, not kids anymore, adults who have already finished their studies and in the professional field working. Yes. Whereas we have Payal Shakya. I think Payal Shakya needs no introduction in the Nepalese community because she is a very well-known personality. She actually was Miss Nepal in 2004. But today she's here not as a Miss Nepal but as a mom, as a working mom, right? So Payal actually has a cute son. He's about 5 years old, Sahas.
Yes.
And as a working mother, she has to also balance a lot of things. She's not just a working mom, she's a devoted wife and a daughter-in-law, because her in-laws also used to share the same house with her some time ago. And she in her heyday was a very popular celebrity, a supermodel, as I can say, right? And now she is a devoted mom and a successful professional. So I think I can proceed with starting this discussion. So first of all, I would like to ask Tara that as a Nepali parent living in Australia, because you had all this experience, do you think your son and daughter they had the best of both cultures growing up in Australia?
I came to Australia in 92 with two kids, my son Tavish and my daughter Tanya. Son was 3.5, daughter was just 2. We basically came here because I lived in US, studied in India, and just wanted to start a new life in Australia because I knew Australia was a country that's close to Asia. It had a lot of opportunities, and one thing I always thought is US is a superpower.
Yep.
Once you're a superpower, you're number one. Where do you go after that? Whereas Australia, I always felt was a country that's rich in diversity, resources, and opportunities there. And basically, I just came here for our kids because the parents was to give the best for the kids. I don't want to say too much about what was lacking in Nepal, but certainly I felt Australia is a country where I could really look forward to bringing up my kids and for myself and my career.
Sure, okay. Tara actually was a Harvard University graduate. He had the opportunity to settle down in US, but he decided to go back to Nepal. Yes. So that he could contribute back to his motherland.
Yes, right. That was very important for me because I went on the Fulbright scholarship.
Yes.
And part of the condition of that Fulbright scholarship is you had to go back and settle in Nepal and contribute to Nepal for 2 years.
Yeah.
And and I didn't want to live in US, find a job, and stay there, having that as guilty feeling in my life. So I did go back to Nepal.
Right, sure. Like, as they say, all the migrants are losers in some ways, because we don't come to a foreign country for the only reason that we want to go overseas. We come here because we're escaping something. Right, we might not be refugees, but we are all, in fact, an economic refugee. Can I say that?
Yeah, in a way, I think we are lucky because in '92 I got an interview in Australian Embassy in Kathmandu, and they gave me PR. So I mean, it was as easy as that. Well, I don't want to make it easy, but they were looking for people.
Sure.
So we were given 1 year to enter Australia.
Right.
And you're right. I mean, I lost my family. I lost my community. I lost friends I grew up with in school. So we are losers, but we are also gaining new friends, new life,
exactly,
new opportunities.
So
it's a balance.
Yeah, we're losers, but now here we are winners. We are winners, but sometimes we can again be losers because in the current scenario, because of COVID, we have our parents back home, and then we miss them, and then again we feel like we're losers, right? Well, what do you think, Payal? I think you're lucky in a way that your in-laws are here and all your family's brothers are here, like your husband's brothers are here. So you have a very big family here, but still you miss your mom and dad. They're still back home, right?
I think it's just the mindset, I guess, is when COVID happened, obviously I definitely missed my mom and dad who's living back home in Nepal. But I'm fortunate that we have our in-laws here, my brothers here, and we get all this mental support. Plus, we live in an day and age where we internet, we can FaceTime. We have, I think we're blessed, and I think I count the blessings more than complain about what we don't have.
Exactly.
I think for us to be connected through internet was really important. And coming from a background where I work for telecommunication, and it was an essential part in our country where we had to open and work as well, made me realize that how important telecommunication in these days and ages is important. So I think in that aspect, I do feel like I'm lucky. Yes, in-laws are here, but my parents are back home. But I'm connected through them through different forms of,
Sometimes I feel like, there's over communication. Like because of Viber and WhatsApp, Skype, Facebook, like people in Nepal, my relatives, they know more about me than my own family here.
Exactly.
Like
absolutely.
I mean, social media, telecommunications is so advanced. I mean, can you imagine COVID living here without all these?
Yes.
When I came to Australia, we used to pay $2 for a minute to Nepal.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And now everything is free.
Yeah. There was a joke on TikTok, and this guy was saying, if COVID came 10 years back, then we would all be staying home playing that snake game on Nokia, right?
Batman.
Yeah, right. How boring it would be, lucky, we have all this technology now. So, Payal, actually, you are a mom of a growing child, and also you're working at the same time. How do you balance between being a mom and a working professional?
I think it's both challenging and rewarding, and it's more rewarding than challenging, I think. And I'm very, very fortunate that I have a supportive husband.
Yes.
When I had Sahas, I decided that I will go part-time. I was already doing really well in my profession as a management team. So I thought I will step down as well for Sahas and then go part-time. But then we had a small meeting with my husband and in-laws who were living with us back then, and they said, no, you have to work, and we are here to support. Sarun is here, and luckily Sarun works from home. So they all supported me and gave me, a courage to go back to work. I did feel guilty for the first couple of months, and I felt like I was missing out on a lot of things. But then I realized that why not? If Sahas' dad, with my husband, is able to share that moment with him, it would be the same thing opposite. If I were staying at home, then he would have missed out on things. So I think. I'm very lucky in that aspect. Yes, it was definitely a little bit challenging emotionally, but with the support of my husband and my in-laws, I was able to overcome that.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. I think that's one of the good things about our culture. There's so much like family value, like support, right? Because your husband Sarun, who is a professional himself, was so supportive of you,
Yes.
and at the same time you got the helping hand from your in-laws. I think that's something is not that common in the Australian culture.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm not saying that Australian culture is bad, but I just was reading an article a couple of days ago. Like grandma was actually demanding for a payment for looking after their grandchild. And also a few years ago, even the government came up with this suggestion that all the grandparents should be paid for looking after their grandchildren.
Yeah.
Because
I think the one of the good thing about our culture and tradition is that the parents, they don't have to demand, because naturally we look after our parents.
Yeah.
And, make sure that they've been looked after. And, it's not that they want money from us or nothing, but they want a little stuff, like for example the Father's Day, Mother's Day. We make them feel special, and we just make sure that they've been looked after.
Yeah.
So that's
Yes.
why I think that communication never happens.
Yeah.
Because naturally that's how we've been trained. I guess that looking after our parents is something very natural thing.
Yeah. It's like reciprocal. I mean, we look after them; they look after us.
Absolutely.
It's not like I mean, it's give and take in a way, but not like explicitly give and take. We don't want it to look like give and take.
But then there's also that aspect of when we left our parents,
Yeah.
like for me,
Yeah.
we left them behind and we're living here.
Yes.
But I just wanted to touch on something you said about when I came early, it was a struggle for as a first generation migrant.
Yeah.
My kids will have a lot better life than us as
Yes.
a first generation.
Yeah.
Starting a new life, finding home, starting a home with everything, furniture,
Yeah.
finding a job, and during recession 1992. And I used to listen to a lot of radios, and I stumbled upon ABC, and there was a professor, I remember this, and most of the time I always say this to a lot of people, and he was encouraging a lot of migration from the Asian countries, because he said three things. One, Asian families put a lot of emphasis on education.
Yeah.
Second, they have a saving habit. And third, they live as a community.
Yes.
So if you think about that, there are a lot of things that we are saying.
Yeah.
We know that there are some Australian families that live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
They have no savings. I would go out and say that a lot of Asians do have some sort of saving. So I guess that really, I thought deeply about that, and really I think it has a lot of meaningful things about migration from the Asian countries,
Yeah.
like how they sort of live in
Definitely,
Australia.
I think the Asian migrants are a very big contributor to Australia. They hardly go on social security benefits. Like they support each other, they work hard. And a lot of the migrants in the initial stages, they work like 2-3 jobs, and they pay so much tax. Right, sure. But having said that, I think I just want to touch base on that thing, like importance in academics. Do you think that's like a bit of negative as well? Like, we Asians, we always try and push our kids too much in academics.
You want to go, Payal?
Well, I think both Sarun and I, we have contributed to arts and creative field. I guess for us, when the way we're raising Sahas is, he loves music. He just hums. He likes to play guitar and all that stuff. He loves swimming.
Right.
He loves sports, and we're encouraging him to do that. And studies is something. I think it's something as he grows and if he develops some, if he feels like he wants to be a professional around, and if he wants to be a doctor, engineer, why not?
Yeah.
But then right now we can see, like as a little child, where we haven't even pushed him to be a model or a pop star or a musician. He watch his dad perform or sing in his music room, and then he picks up the guitar and he tries to play as well. I think we sort of are parents who are like easygoing.
Right.
We just enjoy watching our child enjoy doing his things.
Yeah.
I think we're not experienced enough. I think that would be.
No, I think like academic is fine.
Yep.
But I think it's more to do with education of. Academics is part of the education, and education of life. It's not academics is part of that. And I said about opportunities.
Yeah.
When we grew up in Nepal, it's either not even architect, engineer and, doctor.
Yeah.
I went to medical school.
Yeah. Even I wanted to be a doctor.
After 1 month, I said, no, I don't want to live a life as a. Then I studied architecture.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, architecture, engineer, you're like an engineer, like, same as engineer, but it's not. Yeah, but anyway, so academics is important, but I think more about education of life, about, career. And you said like there are so many opportunities,
Yeah, sure. I think in the case of Sahas, probably, creativity and arts is in his DNA,
Exactly.
because his both mom and dad comes from that background.
And then if he does well in academics, is a plus point for us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can have the best of both things as well. But like I've seen a lot of families where they give so much emphasis on their kids' education. I think it's also because of the psyche of their parents that when they come here they had to struggle so much, like they had to do all these odd jobs, and they faced racism and the glass ceiling. They couldn't get into the corporate sector, so they don't want the kids to go through the same trouble. So that's why they want them to become doctors and engineers, because once you have those skills, you don't face all that trouble, because your job is almost guaranteed.
But
right?
academics gives you a platform from which you want to further your career to what you wanted to.
Sure. So basically, for their kids to become doctor and engineer, like they have to get really high scores in adhere. Exactly. In the high school, and then they prepare their kids by sending them to tuition from a very early age, and then they miss out on the other aspects of life. Like they don't get chance to go do sports, they don't get chance to do music, and they don't even get chance to learn language if they want to, Yeah, so Tadai, let's talk about learning Nepali as a language for our kids.
Okay.
Do you think it's really essential?
Well, we wanted our kids to learn Nepali.
Yeah.
So we spoke Nepali at home.
Yeah.
But as the kids grow, they know they can speak Nepali, they will learn Nepali, they will understand Nepali, but I'm sure they'll have difficulty in writing Nepali.
Yeah.
So in Western Sydney where we lived, there were like 30, 40 families. We started a Nepali school.
Right.
And once a week on Saturday, it went on very well for, a couple of months.
Yeah.
Then slowly the kids lost interest.
Right.
And we say, why is it? Because they go to school 5 days a week.
Yes.
And there they go and they learn few things, but they just wanted to have some fun.
Yes.
So, that's a tough question. Yes, they must learn Nepali, but writing Nepali is very different altogether.
Sure.
So as long as they can communicate in Nepali, I think that's fine.
Okay.
And there's also Newari, being Newars, we speak Newari. So
we should promote Tiz and Newari too, I think. And actually some of my friends actually have done that. They taught their kids Newari instead of Nepali, because their grandparents speak Newari. Right. I think this is the same case in your household.
So first 1 year when I was in maternity leave, I did speak to him in Nepali, but I think he was busy sleeping and growing up. And when we sent him to school, daycare, he was having difficulty adjusting in daycare, and he was not settling down. So the teachers asked us, like, do you guys speak multiple language at home, because he's having difficult understanding and cooperating. So he said, do you mind if you guys can try and speak to him in English, because he would say pani for water, and then the teacher would not understand.
Right.
So and at that time, we, more than being patriotic, I think we had to be a parent and we had to think what is best for our child. And that the protective nature came up, and we were like, okay, we'll just speak in English. But having said that, I do understand that, and it is my dream, Sarun's dream, to make sure that Saha speaks Nepali. So the small achievements that we've done is, like, he knows how to speak Nepali songs. And he say a few things in Nepali. When we communicate with him in Nepali, he responds in English. So he's 5 years old now, and now I think it's time for him to understand why we are forcing him, or we are encouraging him, rather, not force, but encourage him to speak Nepali, is that his parents, and he's originated from Nepal, so he's understanding and he's taking it very well. He does talk about culture. So he asked us questions around why we do Dasai Tika. The other day, last Dasai, he was wanting to know why we do that. So we've been teaching him. So I think let's see what happens in next 5-10 years, whether we have success. But definitely we are in a path to make him learn Nepali, definitely.
Yeah, that's really
One
good.
thing I found out is, like I said, my kids spoke Nepali at home, but then later on we speak English, then we revert back to Nepali. But I sent my daughter to live with her grandma, my mom.
Yes.
And she lived there 1 month, and she came back speaking almost fluent Nepali.
Right, okay.
So, like, they can pick it up. Even at a later stage, they learn.
It's just like learning to cycle. Like, once they have the foundation, I think they will be like pick it up pretty quickly. Yeah. Actually, did you send your daughter for like a gap year or just?
Kids are all different,
Yeah.
My son went through school and found a job and started working right away.
Yeah.
My daughter, she finished school. She wanted to study international relations. She studied Mandarin and all these things. I think like 3 months into it, she said, "Dad, I want to have a special talk with you." I said, when a daughter says, "I want to have a special talk with you," you were saying, "I'm worrying,
Oh, okay.
I'll talk to
maybe you thought, is he going to make me a grandfather or something?
Whatever, So my wife and I said, what's she going to come up with? Like, it was the next morning, she sat us down and she says, I don't want to go to uni. I have applied for a job in Amsterdam.
Right.
And I'm going to be a nanny. And I'm going to teach 2 little kids Dutch. English. And I'm going to learn Dutch.
Okay.
And she was only 18.
Okay.
I said, go for it. We were so worried, but I said, if that's what you want to do, I always say, if you give wings to your children, they will fly away.
Yes.
Like we got wings, we flew ahead.
Yeah.
So bring out the best in them,
Yeah.
Don't have preconceived notions of they have to be doctors, engineers, lawyers.
Right.
They can be good at anything they are passionate about.
Yeah, I actually believe the same as well. I think I'll let my daughters do whatever they like, Like my elder daughter is a little bit bright academically. She's very good at maths and all. But my younger daughter, she doesn't like studies that much, but she's very creative. So, I sometimes like joke with them, like maybe, Niharika, if she becomes a doctor, she'll be like, working very hard. And you will be like maybe some creative director or something, and you'll be working out of your farm, remotely. And when you're doing your sister, she'll say, "No, I'm busy. I'm doing brain surgery," and you'll be relaxing in the farm, just thinking about stories and stuff, right? So I think, but the problem is like a lot of the migrant families. I think we actually. Associate our kids' success with our success, and then they expect so much from the kids, and the kids are under so much pressure, I think. Right?
What do you think?
Well, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because I think, and it's quite natural. I think we as a parent, we want best for our kids.
Yeah.
We definitely want it. But the thing that we need to make them understand is that we want best for them, but we also want what they want to do as well. So they're open and they have that trust factor with us. And then they don't get scared of us and they just leave our dreams. We want them to live their dreams.
Yeah.
But, we as a parent pushing our kids to do what we want to do is absolutely fine, as long as we're not forcing them, as long as we're encouraging them and the kids are enjoying it.
Yes,
because success is like success in career, success in academics, success in sports. It's such a wide variety of successes in life.
Yes,
I think success is about being the best you want to be in whatever field or activity that you choose to do.
Yes.
You can't be successful in everything, right? But be successful in what you are really creative about, what passionate about, and I think that's really the definition of success.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really define success in a particular way, right? I think this is the lesson. Advice we should be giving to migrant parents, like be a little bit more broad-minded, and don't put your kids under so much stress and pressure. They will do well. Like we are in Australia, we're not in Nepal or India where there's so much competition. In Australia, there's so much opportunity, right?
But there's competition too. Just because you graduate from uni doesn't mean you'll get a job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I work in that space, and actually, like the markets become so competitive, job market for graduates. And actually, a lot of the Australian graduates are facing competition from migrants. To be honest,
Yeah.
because and now in a global economy, we have to compete with the Asian countries, and the education in Australia is lagging behind. Like in maths, I think Australia is like in rank 35 or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Whereas in Nepal, they like drill maths into our head.
Yeah.
Until now, you still remember all those multiplications, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. We had to memorize all those multiplication tables from 1 to like
And if
20.
you didn't know, you get a beating.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to that strict parenting, what do you think? Were you a strict dad?
I was strict when I had to be.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, we're not perfect parents, nobody is. I learned from my dad, maybe mom and mom, they learned from them. And, when we grew up in Nepal, there was no TV, there was radio, we grew up so differently.
Right.
But we make the most of it. Now our kids have got so many things they can expose to, internet, social media, and they have information at their tips.
Yeah.
When we were studying, we had to go to the library, look at the index card and find a book.
Yeah.
Just to find out. Now you just punch in a word and
Everything at the tip of the button. Yeah.
Yeah, I do have an incident where I used to be not strict, but then I would want my son to be disciplined when we go to our friend's house.
Yeah.
So then I would look after him everywhere he goes, like when he's playing with his friends.
Yeah.
So there was a moment when he confronted me, and he was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
So I used to say, Saha's like everywhere he goes, so I don't want him to make mess or anything. Then he came to me and said, Mama, you just you are embarrassing me.
Yes. Wow, he said
always
that.
say, Mom, Saha.
Yeah.
He said it in a very childish way, but then he made a point that you kind of like embarrassing me, stop saying saha all the time.
Yeah.
Then I kind of wanted to do a little bit of research around that. Then I read an article where it said that you want to correct or discipline your child not in front of
strangers,
others,
Yes.
in front of the friends or the relatives. They feel really embarrassed.
Yes.
Their self-esteem goes down.
Yes, exactly, and that's how they become quiet.
Correct. And then they feel like they don't want that embarrassment the next time. So
Yes.
they then don't want to go to the friend's house.
Yeah.
They want to no, I don't want to I stay home. I want to play my iPad. I want to watch games.
Yeah.
Then they will. If we let them do what they want, of course discipline them. But when we come home, we can tell them, prepare them before we go. Say, hey, you're going to somebody's house. Make sure you're respectful. You're disciplined. You're not jumping in the couch or things like that. Otherwise, we're coming back home.
Yeah.
Then that sternness is there. But at the friend's house, you want to talk good things about them.
Yeah.
So if it say Sahas is really good at singing, then he's listening. Rather than he's also a very naughty boy. Then he thinks that my parents think I'm a naughty kid. So that's the pre-notion that he has in his head, and he will think that I am a naughty kid. Then he probably will accept that he's not a good child. So that's the article I read, and it's really stuck in my head.
Yes.
So that's what we do is I prep Sahas before we go to our friend's party, so we don't embarrass him.
Very revealing.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because it was really he came to me and he literally took me on the side, not in front of everyone. And he said to me you're just saying Sahas, and you're just embarrassing me, And coming from 4-year-old, it was really. And I told Sarun, and Sarun did say yes, absolutely, and you should stop doing that,
Sure. Yeah, I can definitely relate to this same story. When I was growing up as well, my dad was quite strict. But my mom was really friendly and supportive, and I became so timid and introverted, because I was worried that my dad would shout at me, but I think there has to be a balance. Absolutely. Right? Because you can't just always keep praising them, and then again it can have a negative impact as well. They become a little bit entitled and spoiled.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of that in the local kids. Yeah, to be honest.
I think right place and time. It's not you do that at home as well.
Yeah.
At home, you want to be the best critic ever. You want to give them feedback and be tough on them. But I think when they are socially, having fun, you don't want to disappoint. Because I've seen a lot of people that I know, the kids, they don't want to come out. They just don't want to hang out or socialize with in birthdays, or they miss out on the birthday parties because I don't know like what their mindset is, but. For Sahas, I think we talk a lot of good things about him, so he enjoys that,
Yeah, sure.
It's never easy, isn't it?
Yeah, so how to get balance
between a strict discipline and just let him be who he is, or let her be who she is. So I think as parents, we always struggle with that. You got to be strict, but you're just kindly strict, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you can always lecture them, but every lecture we have to finish it with, like, a show of support, positivity, not with anger or
every child is different.
Fear.
Every child is different.
Yeah.
Some kids, they take feedback really well, and some don't. They show tantrums, and it's really hard, and then you give in. As a parent, you're like, okay, whatever, and then just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So you give in. So I think that's when both parents, mom and dad, both parents have to find that balance, and both of them should be in the same page.
Yeah.
So if Surun is, in his side and I am not, then he kind of thinks that, okay, I can get away because today is my dad's day.
Exactly.
So dad's my favorite, or tomorrow it'll be my mom's is my favorite. So basically they know the trick.
Yeah, that happens in my household all the time.
Yeah.
We always, I get in fight with my wife because of the kids, because I kind of a little bit pamper them, and then my wife is like, these days I call her mom manager, especially like when you bring up girls who are about to become teenagers. I think you got to be a little bit controlling as well, because there's very chance that they might take a wrong track.
Absolutely.
Like carrot and stick, no?
Yeah.
So like when growing up, and we're talking about the back 20, 30, 40 years, not 40 years, 30 years ago, when I was growing up, and me and my sister, we were allowed to go out and stay till 8 or 8:30, and then if it's really late, then my dad would come and pick us up.
Yeah.
So they would let us have fun, not miss out on our events, but they would never allow us to do sleepovers.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
there's a definitely we need to draw a line, and and whereas my brother he could stay sleepover and all that stuff, but I guess even for boys and girls both, I strictly think that there should be a line that we need to draw and say, yes, you are allowed to do, but there's a limitations as well. These are your limitations. So they don't think like, oh, my parents don't let us do anything. But they know that they respect the fact that, oh, my parents are understanding, but we also have to respect the fact that there's a limitation.
Yeah, you get your freedom, but you also get responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not total freedom.
Exactly.
You have accountability and also responsibility with your freedom.
Yeah, exactly. But these days, I'm not like anti-feminist, but because of the wrong concept of feminism, like a lot of girls, they think they are equal with boys in every aspect, but I think that's not the case, right? Because you see in media, like pop stars, they're saying, it's my body, it's my business, whatever I want to do, I do, and girls should be able to do whatever they like, and everyone should just respect the decision. But when it comes to girls, I think as a parent we have to be careful, as you said,
There should be lines
right.
drawn.
Like I might sound a bit conservative, but what do you think, Dada? Because you are senior to us.
I'm very protective, and I'm a mother of a son, but I am a daughter myself. And I know that my dad and my mom, they would be worried if we're not home, or if they try to reach out to my friend's house and we're not there, we're somewhere else. Then of course definitely as a parent you will be, no matter how modernized the culture would be, it will still be conservative, especially when it comes to daughter. And I think that's natural. That's why the open conversation needs to happen there. I
remember we had like 3 brothers and I got a sister.
Yeah.
I still remember when we were small, my sister wasn't allowed to go out by herself. Right. There was always a chaperone, she had to be accompanied by someone, servant or someone, I think times have changed also, I have a boy and a girl. I think generally girls are a lot more know what they want. They're linguistically, I think they develop a lot faster than the boys.
Right.
And also the kids that grow up with so much information, not like when we were growing up, So being more strict to the daughter, I don't know. You have to be strict with your boy, and you have to stick with your daughter, and I don't think you should treat anyone differently.
Yeah, sure.
I think that in today's days and age, the way the message is going out is, the equality and everything. It's in a positive way. People are taking it in a negative way as well.
Yeah.
But I think when we say equality, it comes to opportunities. Like for example, in my case, where Sorun spends most of the time with Sahas, and for some people it's surprising, because some of my friends, they go like, "Wow, you're very lucky to have a husband who looks after son like a full time, and then you get to." Two things. I think that sort of equality maybe we're looking at, I don't know, but I think the way we are taking the other message, that the Western culture and all that stuff, there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
And if we focus on positive sides rather than the negative sides, I think we should be able to teach our kids that there's pros and cons on that message, that should be, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think, in Australia, we like, whether you have a son or a daughter, I think they have the equal rights, there's equality, sometimes I even tell my daughters, you can be whatever you want, If you want to be Prime Minister of Australia, you can be, right? And actually, my younger daughter, when she was little, she was just like 2.5 years old, she just started talking. And at one time, I asked her to come and watch news with me, and she said, "No, if I watch news with you, then I'll turn into a boy." She said, I still remember. And these days, she watches news. She's become 10 years old. And she watches news, and I was just joking with her, like, "I think you've been watching news with me, so probably you want to be Prime Minister of Australia." And she knows who's the Prime Minister of Australia and who's like Donald Trump. So I think, so in terms of equality, there's an opportunity for both boys and girls, and our girls should be told that, you're not less to a boy in any ways, At the same time, when it comes to like sexuality and stuff, I think we should be able to control it.
I think being a mother of a son, I think what I would like to say is very responsible. I'm very responsible to make sure that my son is getting the message that he needs to also respect women. He needs to make sure that he is no superior than women.
Yes.
Sometimes he says things here and there like, I'm a boy, and not in a superior way, but then that's how they already have this in head that I want to play with boys, not with girls and all that thing. Yeah. So they already start developing naturally.
Yes.
So now then I start teaching him, saying that, boys and girls are equal, we have to treat girls equally. In fact, you have to treat them gently. Yeah. You have to look after them or treat them equally. So as a mother of a son, we have that bigger responsibility.
Yes, I think, you have to teach them how to respect girls and everyone.
Absolutely. So he has cousin sisters. Like my brother has a daughter. Yeah. My Sarun's brother had 2 daughters as well. And then when they're all together, they're all equal. So they're all equally treated. So I think that's the message that they need to grow up with, is that they are equal.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, sure. Let's talk about rewarding our kids, right? Like for me as a dad, sometimes I feel like in Australia we reward our kids too much. Like they get a lot of rewards in school from their kindy, like primary school. Like they get awards every day, like award for being good, award for being better than yesterday. Just joking. And I think that's good in a way. It really does motivate them. But at the same time, personally, I feel that, I think we should only reward our kids if they earned it, right? What do you think, Payal?
Well, the way we do it is, look, obviously, right now we do not kind of use that as only reward.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, we don't want him to grow up with the concept that, my parents will only buy me things if I do well, which is a good thing, but then we don't want him to do well just for the reward.
Yes.
We want him to just do well regardless of reward and incentive.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now. Sometimes, there could be a difficult situation where we want him to go to school, let's say, or do well in something, and he's been adamant. And situationally, sometimes we say, okay, if you do this, then we'll buy you like a chocolate, or I'll give you an ice cream or something like that. And that is something I used to do a lot. And Sorun has recently, asked me to we need to, because he's growing up and he's going to school next year, and we don't want to be just doing that all the time.
Like I've seen some of the kids, that they start blackmailing us if we bribe them too much, right? If you don't give me this, I won't do this.
Absolutely.
And that's not actually a good
I have seen kids. Where namaste garo to, and then I'll give you chocolate, even that, and then they will do namaste. I think that will be very that's what I was trying to say. I will buy toys or anything regardless, but not to use it as an incentive for anything that they do. We can give them incentive or reward for something huge, like a big, if they do well in their education. Or something like that. At the end of the year, if you do so well on your studies, then we can buy you a big, Nintendo Switch or whatever.
Sure.
But then not like for every single thing. Like, if you eat, if you wear your clothes, or if you go out with us, I think.
Because they grow up thinking, I can take advantage of this.
Yes, exactly.
I can get away with it.
Yeah.
But I think in this, the flip side of that is, perhaps in Nepal we don't encourage them enough. We don't demand them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when my son was in kindergarten, he brings a certificate, his first certificate, and the certificate said, Tavis has been awarded this certificate for sitting up straight in class.
Okay.
So I said, wow, you get a certificate for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's good that they get motivated, they get encouraged, that I got something. In Nepal, maybe the certificate, it's still this is nothing, you have to do more better. So
and also that we have this very bad culture of comparing with other kids, Like when I was growing up, like my mom's elder sister, my auntie's daughters were really good in studies. They always become like first and second at St. Mary's School. And then I always used to get compared with them, And you know how girls are, they after giving exams, they say, I did so bad, I think I'm gonna fail. And then when the result comes out, they become first and second, right? And I wasn't that good in studies, and then always sometimes you feel like doesn't matter, whatever how hard I try, I'm not gonna be as good as them anyway. Right, I think that's one of the bad things about our culture, I guess. Too much comparison.
And even if our parents, they don't do, I think the society naturally they do it. So one of the reasons my mom, my parents, they decided to send my sister to overseas, like America, even though she wanted to stay back, was like I won Miss Nepal, and then I was getting all the attention and all the stuff. And my sister was like just 1 year older than me. So they were worried that she will be feeling overshadowed by people. People would come in and say, "What's for her then?" So and they were like, I still remember that my mom said, if she stays here, then she will probably feel very inferior. Even though they're not doing it, the people are comparing to kids, So
that's a very bad aspect, I think.
Yes.
So
and the community does that, and then the parents ultimately. So it's a big responsibility as a community as well. When we meet our friends and then their kids, not to make comments. I think it's a duty of care as a community to make sure that we are having that friendly environment for our kids here.
Sure.
Maybe even in case like if you have two kids, one of them becomes a lawyer. The other one becomes, bricklayer or something. Nothing wrong with that,
Yeah, exactly.
You can,
especially in Australia,
live a decent life, earning good money, hard-earned money, laying bricks.
Yes.
So there's no preconceived notions to good career success. That I think.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you're comparing apple with orange. You can't compare apple and orange. Everyone's different. Everyone's unique, right?
But I can understand what Payal said about the communal pressures. They will say, "Oh, my sons, both of them are lawyers." And that sort of pride in that. But I think is what they call Australia is the egalitarian society. Everyone's equal, you know.
Yes.
So perhaps in Nepal it's not that, you know. Either you are born into a royal family or you are an aristocrat or you are, you know. So I think that's probably the single most damning sort of thing about our culture there. It's like you are sort of classified into a group of person.
Yes.
But you are equal and be the best in whatever you want to be.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's what we should be telling our kids. Like, you know, you can be anything. Like, there's no, like, a social class as such. And actually, you know, the tradespeople make more money here than the professionals.
I know. When I was working as an architect, there's a guy who does most of our brickwork in our display homes. And he says, can you just design me a house? I got a small sketch. And he brings a drawing, it's like a palace. I said, I'm an architect, I can't even afford a house. One third the size. Right. He's a bricklayer, he's building this, you know, like huge house.
Like plumbers, like, you know, in their 20s, they're driving Ferrari and Lamborghini and stuff.
Actually, Sahas been saying, I don't know how he picked that up. And I just recently asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he says he wants to become a builder.
Oh,
so he hasn't changed that statement. He keeps on saying he wants to become a builder.
Okay, so he's a big fan of Bob the Builder.
But
can you fix it? Yes, I can.
And we're not changing that statement by saying, no, you want to become a doctor or engineer. So fine, if he wants to be a builder, you know.
Let's talk about food, actually, you know, because food is something that we eat every day. Like, Tada, your kids, they've grown up, like, do they still enjoy eating Nepali food?
Everything.
Yeah,
they love Nepali food, they love Newari food, they love chaku, they love yomori, everything. We love pasta, we love Chinese, we love Thai. So I think we are a global community. I mean, when we came in Australia 92, there were very few restaurants that were serving like Asian cuisine. And people used to say, like, there were hardly any before that. So I think we are lucky that they can have a palate that can taste, you know, and we have such a rich cuisine, you know, to offer.
Yeah, sure. Especially our Newari cuisine is like so rich, you know, there's so many varieties.
Sahas loves momos, bara.
Exactly.
He's still eating, on his lunch we give him khichdi, you know, jawla. So pasta he's not a very big fan of. So I'm now thinking what sort of Western, you know, food that I need to now start feeding him so that for school, you know, so to pack his lunches. So right now he's eating pasta at school, but when I make it at home, he doesn't. He just says no. He wants his jawla.
Okay. Sure.
I love jawla too.
Right. Yeah. Actually, my kids they don't like samay bhaji stuff yet, but I've been trying to influence them to love it. You know.
My son is. Whenever we eat chibra at home with button and saag and all the curry, we eat with spoon. He still uses his hands. We've never told him, because I remember we took him to a Bartaman in Nepal, and we sat down and ate the bhoj with our hands. And he also started that. Till now, we'll be eating with our spoons, but he uses his hands to eat chura.
Oh, okay, that's good. Let's talk about respect, right? Okay, I mean, you know, as you said earlier, like, you know, we shouldn't be bribing our kids that much. They should be doing things out of respect, you know. And also, when it comes to respecting elders, I think our culture, like, you know, is really good at it. Like, you know, we show respect to teachers, to elders, you know, and we show like kindness and support to younger person, right? Do you feel that like, because you have grown up, you know, they respect you, you know, do they still have these like Asian Nepalese values?
This is a different one, you know,
because sometimes, you know, like just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to my elder daughter, like, about giving gifts to the teachers in school, because she's in high school now. Before, when she was in primary school, they used to give Christmas gift to the teachers, right? And this year, she didn't ask me, like, you know, we should go shopping for a gift for my teacher. And I asked her, like, don't you have to give gifts to your teacher? And she said, no, like, we don't have to. Why should we? Teaching is our job. Like, you know, it's like, similarly, like for them, even when they realize that it's a job of mom and dad to look after their kids. I didn't feel really good that she gave me this response.
I think respect can be shown in different forms. Again, for them probably that's the education they're getting from school, where all the kids are not giving presents or gifts to their teachers. I think for Sahas, for us, it's very important that we're respecting him as well as respecting us. So both ways. And we talk a lot about that. So sometimes when he kicks us, he's just a child, and then we go like, you have to respect your mom, or you have to respect your dad. And we use that respect word a lot. And then make sure that he understands the essence behind that. So if you see your grandparents even in Nepal, like he hasn't seen my parents for a long time, but he still says Ajima and grandpa when he hears the voice, and he starts doing namaste, and that is kind of respect. So it's very it's important. It's very important, and I think we do that naturally. I think with our kids.
Perhaps in our generation, it was required of us to show it physically and show it on a day-to-day basis. I think with my kids, I'm sure they respect me, but they don't have to show it to me like every day, so as long as the feeling is there, along with the respect, it also comes, there's, like you said, there's love, there's so many other things that we share.
And things the generation has changed now, so the way we used to respect our parents is different. My parents, like Sarun, the way Sarun respects his parents is different. The way I respect my parents is different. But it's respect though. But we have, they wouldn't say anything if dad says something, and they wouldn't put their point of view across, maybe out of respect. Whereas I would still respect my dad, but I would still put my points of view across. I want my point of view to be respected as well. And so I think it's a generation gap, and with generation gap, as Tayada said, how your kids, they do respect, but they don't need to show anything.
Exactly.
But as long as they're not they're not like switching off their phone on us or something like that. But sometimes you'll have disagreements, and it's okay to have that. That doesn't mean that there's any less respect. I fight with my mom. Sometimes we don't agree on certain things, and that's fine. We still respect each other.
You can always have healthy discussions. And also, like in our culture, sometimes the respect is just too much. Like we've been taught that you shouldn't be talking to elders. As you said earlier, you would still talk with your dad about certain things. Even though you respect him, you want to have open conversation with your parents.
That's been one of the drawbacks in our
in our culture. I think
because there's no discussion,
there's no discussion. Exactly.
You're talking too much. You keep quiet. You're a little boy. You don't know anything. So I think you're putting them down. Whereas here they encourage you to talk.
Yes, exactly.
What are your feelings? I think that's so much we can learn from that.
Like if you give some advice to an elder, and they will say like, "Are you my dad?" It's like it doesn't matter whether you are senior or junior. Even the kids, you can learn from kids even. Right.
And they grow up when we grew up, it's like sir, madam, miss, whatever. Here you just say Tom, Harry. First name basis. So we're all equal, kind of thing.
Exactly. I think so far, we're having a really good discussion. Like so many things to talk about, right? And I think it's been interesting so far. Interesting for us, but I hope interesting for our audience as well. Right. Let's talk about some interesting things. Zahra, can you please share with us, some of the funny moments in your parenting with your kids?
This is when I came back from Nepal. He was just a little going to primary school. I saw this Nike shoes, the Nike shoes goes this way, but this one was going this way.
Right.
It was like 1,000 rupees only,
Okay.
So I came back and said, hey, I got you a Nike shoes and all, And he loved it. Wow, good. And he wore it to school next day, and the whole soles came off,
Oh, okay.
That was so funny. Like you assume that these kids don't know, and give them. Well, my son and daughter, I used to take them swimming. And I think they used to be in a tadpole group, They start from that level.
Yeah.
And my son finished and got a certificate.
Yes.
And my daughter is like, learning from peers. She wants to do it. She wasn't fully a good swimmer, but she says, no, I want to do it.
Yeah.
But your instructor said, you're not ready. I said, I want to do it.
Yeah.
So you had to go swim from here to the rope and come back.
Okay.
So she went one way.
Yeah.
Coming back, she was crying. But she was still paddling.
Right.
Paddling.
Okay. Yeah.
So
there was peer pressure. I mean,
peer pressure,
sibling
it's
rivalry.
like an incentive, Sometimes that peer pressure is good if you take it positively. So she did get that.
Healthy competition.
It was funny. I didn't have a video, but I could have taken a video. That's
Okay.
a really funny incident for me.
So in those days, we don't have mobiles with cameras.
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's very okay. How about you?
Well, every day. There's always something funny happening. He's a very like Touchwood. He's a very outgoing kid. He just loves fun. He can't stay still. Like he's got lots of cousins. Sarun Fair.
Yeah, you have a very big family.
Exactly.
Like 3 brothers, all got 2 kids. I mean,
3. So the eldest one has 2 sons, and the middle one have 3. So 2 daughters and 1 son.
Oh, they have 3. Okay.
Yeah, and my brother has 1 daughter. So he
Yeah.
has like literally 6 cousins.
Yeah.
And so every day.
And he's the youngest and the spoiled.
No, he is actually. So Sachin Dai has the youngest son.
Right.
So he's not youngest anymore.
Okay.
So he's a big brother now. So.
Yeah, sure. Like when are you gonna have the second one?
Well, at the moment we're not planning anything, but if God uses, why not? But for now we're just enjoying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I think go for the second one. I think it will be much easier for you, because I see my friends who have only 1 child and those who have 2 like me. It becomes easier when you have 2 after a certain age. So like at the moment for me, like I don't have to look after my daughters at all. I don't have to worry about them. They're always having fun together, right? But when you have only 1 child, like you have to run after that child all the time,
Let's see.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'm sure you must be getting a lot of pressure from your in-laws and mom and dad as well.
Not from in-laws, but from friends.
Yeah.
Because everybody has 2 or 3.
Yeah.
They do say that, but then I don't know. Like me and Surun, we're like friends with Sahas because we either Surun is doing some sort of activities with him.
Yeah.
He's never bored, So he keeps us busy all the time.
Yeah.
So he is demanding for a dog though.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he wants to have a dog soon.
Right.
So we just have to wait and watch and what happens.
Sure. Like having a dog is not easy. It's so.
I know we
so much
actually had one.
responsibility.
So our eldest brother, they have dog.
Yeah.
So we just recently had him over for a week.
Yeah.
Sahas looked after him. So I actually discovered the empathy and that kindness that he had with the dog.
Yeah.
And I never thought that he would be so.
Yeah, it will make him really
gentle.
responsible.
Yes, and he would sleep with him, and then if I put the dog outside for a bit because I want a piece of maybe 10 minutes, and he'll be like, can you get him inside? He's cold or something like that. He's so worried about the dog. So that side of him, it was really good to see.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. For me, the funny moment would be just one last week happened. My younger daughter was wearing a t-shirt which was gifted to her by one of our relatives back home when we went there last year and a half ago. And it was just a nice t-shirt, like a hoodie, jumper. And I asked her, why are you wearing this at home? It's such a nice gift, you should wear it when you go outside.
Yeah.
And she said, look at this, Papa. And it has written, gentleman. It's a boy, it's a jumper, I think someone gave it to her as a gift in Nepal, but it was supposed to be for a boy,
She's just worried.
Yeah, she's just wearing it at home. Right. Okay, so let's move on to maybe one other issue. Like raising a teen. This is a question for Tara. Tara, the thing is, like when your kids get into a teen stage, they become so like, what's the word? Like they feel that they know it all.
Yeah.
And then they're like leave me alone kind of. People.
Yeah.
What did you have to go through?
My experience was like, I can say it like, I call it 3 stages of bringing up a child,
Yeah.
When they are in primary school and they are walking in the street,
Yeah.
and they are left behind a little bit, they run and hold your hand,
Yes.
They want to walk with you.
Yeah.
When they are in secondary school and high school,
Yeah.
they'll walk 2 steps behind you.
Mm.
And when they are in uni, they don't want to be seen close to you, because I think it's all different stages of life.
Right, yeah.
When they are teens, they're exposed to so much information.
Yeah.
They have peers, they have friends.
Yeah.
You don't expect them to act like they were everything.
Yeah.
They want their freedom. They want their space.
Yeah.
They
You
evolve.
respect that. They are evolving.
Yes.
So as long as it's not going out of control or
Yeah.
it's disturbing you that you can't live together, but they
Yeah.
need the space.
So give
They
them
will
the
manage.
space.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think I know that your daughter has already moved out, right? So when do you think is like when she moved out, when she decided to move out of the house?
Whenever they think they are ready. My son is
like-
with me.
Yeah.
He's happy with us. We're happy he's living with us. If my daughter wants to move in, that's great.
Yeah.
But she's happy living by herself.
Okay.
She's moved out, so
Yeah.
that's good.
How did you feel when she decided that I'm gonna go and live on my own?
She went to Amsterdam for a year, and
Yeah.
we felt bad, but like I said, we felt glad that she took on that responsibility to
Yeah.
do something on her own.
Yeah, sure. But at that time, did your Nepali dad emotions kicked in?
Well, I was half Nepali, half Australian. so
Yeah, okay.
I think one consoled the other one. No, that's
Yeah.
that's the reason we are here.
Okay.
Let them do what they want to do, positive things in life.
Yeah.
Let them experience it.
Guide them.
Yeah.
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 Sure. Yeah, that's good. I think that's something.
Look after yourself.
All
We're always worried.
Yeah.
Something will happen, but then she's with the family. She's teaching English to little kids. She
Right.
got a house.
Yeah.
And she made a lot of friends. She traveled around in Europe. So
Yes.
that was a very positive experience for her.
I just have one more question for you. Being a Nepali parent, I think we always thinking like, who will my kids get married to? Will they marry a Nepali like husband or Nepali wife?
Yeah.
Nepali bride, like what's your personal liking preference?
I mean, short answer is whatever they choose.
Yeah.
I'm
you're
not
happy
going
for
to
them.
demand them to say,
Yeah.
you have to marry Nepali.
Yeah.
You can actually marry a Nepali and can be a homebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can marry someone from a different culture and they
Yeah.
can be like a very respecting towards your family.
Yeah.
So someone who loves your child and
Yes.
someone they respect.
They can live with.
Yeah.
Even that may not work out.
Yes.
Even they think they might marry this one, might work out. It may not work out.
Yeah, like
we are
divorce
married
is
for
so
us,
common back home
I would
these
never
days.
think of leaving my wife.
Yeah.
She would never think of. But in our kids, we have to be prepared that they might have made the wrong choice.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have to be broad-minded these days, especially in Australia. There's no discrimination. Like, we're so lucky to be living here. There's so much rights, opportunities, right? And our kids, I think they are very lucky to be born here. So much facilities, so much support, and they get to have parents like us who give them the best of both worlds. We can just cherry pick all the good things from our culture, all the good things from Australian culture, right? And give them the best values as well.
And one thing
Right.
is that we chose this life. They
Yeah.
didn't choose this life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can't be so selfish and then just pressure them that no, your parents are from Nepal or
Yeah.
you need to or have to. That becomes a bit of a pressure for them and they will start hating.
Yes.
They'll probably hate us when we speak in Nepali. They'll get irritated.
Yeah.
We should let them want to love our culture and want to be included,
Yes.
be inclusive, because we have to. At the end of the day, they didn't choose to be born here.
Yeah.
We choose this like they didn't. They,
Yes.
just for them
Yeah,
it's not
exactly,
fair. If we
yeah.
start being too
force them upon them.
And sure, I think we don't have to worry too much. You know, I've seen a lot of my friends, kids who have grown up already. Like, you know, they might feel a bit of identity crisis when they are teen. Like they feel like they don't belong here, they don't belong in Nepal, you know.
Especially Father's and Mother's Day, like how we do Nepali Father's Day, Nepali English Father's Day, so they get confused.
And they get to have like 2-3 birthdays as well. You know, like calendar birthday, you know, like lunar calendar birthday, Australian birthday, right? But when they cross that teen, like when they're in the early 20s, you know, I think they will feel proud to be a second generation Nepali. That's what I felt.
It's up to them.
Yeah, they will actually, you know, they will learn about our culture. You know, actually, even now when they're teen, like, you know, they still have that connection through us. You know, my elder daughter, she's in high school now, and one of her subjects was like this textile in technology. And I was surprised, like she was designing a handbag based on Nepali theme, you know. So she did some research on Google and cut the temple clippings and the prayer flags, you know, and she put all these things in the bag. I didn't know.
Harmony Day, so everybody, all the kids, and he's in childcare, he's not even in school, Sahas, and he was asked to make a flag. So obviously he could choose to make a Australian flag, and we didn't even force him to make Nepali flag. So he asked me, Mommy, I need to do an activity for tomorrow. So I said, what? So I need to make a flag. So I just asked him, I quizzed him to see what flag do you want, which country you want to in Nepal. So it was just naturally he said that. It was really, even if he said Australia, I would have made Australian flag for him. But he knows that, you know, he's, and that is what we want for Sahas, is we want him to own it. We want him to happily, you know, be so proudly say like, I'm from Nepal, you know, my parents are from Nepal. And that so far he is growing to be that, and that's what I say, I can't really be overconfident on that yet. But so far he's
give him time and space to understand Nepal. Because one thing I've done is I've taken my kids back every 2-3 years for weddings, and then they realize, my God, look at our family network. Like in Australia, they think you're like, you know, handful of people. But you take them to a party in wedding and see 600 guests, and they'll say, wow, these are all your cousins. And they get a different dimension, and that's when maybe when they grow up, they want to go trekking. You know, that's when.
So this is what we've been doing as well, and I just remember that I think that's why he feels that he is from Nepal. Is we took Sahas 2 or 3 times already to Nepal, and every time we go to Nepal, we do trips like, you know, we go Chitwan, Pokhara, Lumbini, and we've been making short videos, and we watch it time and again. The other day, like last year, we went to Muktinath trip, and it was like a really challenging trip, but we took him, and it was such a you know, nice experience for him. So I think now that's why he feels connected to that he belongs to Nepal, and that exposure is also important.
Let them discover it for themselves. You can't force it upon them, but if they discover and they love it, I'm sure they
And it's so good that you're keeping that connection from such an early age.
Because this year we would have, this is what Sarun and I, we both were so passionate, because Sahas' name was derived from earthquake. So when earthquake happened, Sarun was Guti, you know, he was a chairperson there. So when that happened, he was in charge of like collecting funds, and he was in tears when the thing he heard about, you know, the kids being losing their parents, all this side, and we didn't even decide the name for our son, because I was pregnant back then. So he came up with the name Sahas because the name is courage. So the courage the Nepalese people had during earthquake.
That's great.
That's where the name came from. And then we are very passionate about, like, we are aware that we don't want to force on him, but we are aware that we want to give him that exposure, encourage him, you know, wherever possible. For that, the first 7 years of a child is very important. You know, so we can mold him the way we want to. But after 7 or 8, they decide what they want to do. So that's why we decided that every year, instead of going to like Japan, America, or we will go Nepal. So we've been successfully going to Nepal for the past 3 years, but this year COVID happened.
Because of COVID, we couldn't go.
Otherwise, this year as well, we would have gone to Nepal and discover different parts of Nepal and take him there for trips, and also make videos so that he can watch it, you know, time and again. So
Yeah, that's good. Okay, sure. I think we covered a lot of issues, a lot of topics. I think we had an interesting
I just
conversation.
wanted to touch on that naming of your son. I think that's so important. Like in Nepali, they say you cannot name your child before they are born. It's not good luck or something, no?
Okay.
So Sarun didn't tell me that name until he was born.
Yeah.
So I came up with Payal and Sarun, so I was making names. So I was like Sayal or something, He didn't tell me at all. And then when Sahas was born and we had to fill up a form, that's when he said Sahas. Yeah. And he told me the story behind it. I was in tears.
Yeah.
When he told me that this is the name and this is what I decided when we were going through that crisis, and I've never seen Sarun cry. And he was watching this video in YouTube where there was this orphan
little boy they pick up from the
no, there was this the mom died and then the dad was alcoholic. And then the child was like, he had nowhere to go, and he was really touched, and we were becoming parents. And then he came up with that name, didn't share with me. Yeah. So when he told me that's the name, Saha. So that's how it came from, and we'll be very proud to really say this to Saha.
I'm sure he'll be proud.
Yeah, sure.
So, absolutely. So
you should tell this to him when he grows up, when he understands. Yeah.
And you can't really name your kids like as they used to before, like long name, like I don't know. Everything, like even you have Rahindra become Ryan,
Yeah, actually, I think I was thinking you're talking about that. Actually, that's one of the sacrifices that we have to make as a migrant. Like especially when you're working in the corporate sector. Like for me, I was working in sales. I used to make calls to companies every day. To see whether they need any staffing so that I could sell them my services. And when you leave the name Rahindra, you never get any callbacks, because it's difficult to name, and then your customer can't relate to you,
Yeah.
So that's why I had to change it to Ryan, and then it became easy to remember, and then I started getting callbacks.
That's why I think we have to be aware of where we're living and name the kids.
Yeah.
My problem is my name is a girl's name.
Yeah, actually,
so
I remember.
They assume that my wife is Bijuma, the husband.
Okay.
So anytime I get a call for me at home and Tara, can I speak to Tara?
Yeah.
Tara speaking. No, I want to speak to Tara.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law's name is Tara as well.
Yeah. It's
I can't change my name.
Tamara. Is the English name.
I live with it.
Yeah, sure. I remember once.
I'm the only male Tara in Australia.
Yeah, once you told me that you got nominated for Telstra Businesswoman of the Year.
Yes, I got a letter when I was working in marketing. I got a letter from Telstra saying, "Would you like to be nominated for the Businesswoman of the Year?"
Right. Okay. Sure. Maybe you should just use Tara Prakash, like one
but
name.
They don't use middle names here, no?
Yeah.
So it's like Tara Shrestha.
Yes.
Our middle names are.
Yeah, but some English.
But maybe I take it. I try to teach them about my name also. So I said we are three brothers: Chandra, Surya, Tara.
Yeah.
Chandra,
half the universe there.
Prakash, Tara, Prakash. So
Yeah.
Tara is a star.
Yes.
So that's how I'm named. So they know a little bit about me too.
So now you're gonna be a star with this interview. Right. Right. Okay. Sure. I think we've almost come to the end of the program. We talked about so many things. Like it was so good to listen to your ideas, your insights, suggestions. It's a lot of things are very eye-opening, isn't it? I think you agree.
For me, as a young mom, I think I'm still growing. Sahas is still growing up, so I think it's very interesting to get feedback, and it's really inspiring to.
Yeah, we can learn so much from Tara, and
then the fact that the choices that you made for your daughter is very inspiring, because especially for daughters, we're talking about a daughter, and you let her follow her dreams, and that's really inspiring.
Sure. So, do you have any suggestions for our audience, like any parenting tips that you want to summarize?
Well, I think parenting is not a rocket science. It's something, everyone's different, and we should not judge. I think parenting is something that can lead to competition, and sometimes people compare and all that stuff. That should not happen, because everybody has their own way of raising their kids. Some parents are really strict, some parents are liberal, and that's okay. That's completely fine if that's working for their child. And so enjoy until it lasts, until they are small, and until they leave you and they follow their dreams.
Exactly. Thank you, Payal and Tade.
Well, I don't know. Like I said at the beginning, I don't think I'm a perfect parent. As long as you want the best for your kids in a very positive manner, that they are. I mean, we can't call ourselves fully Australian. We can't call ourselves fully Nepali. I think we are global citizens, and that's what our kids will be. They talk about Australian values, Nepali values. For me, human values are the same everywhere in the world. No one has privatized values.
Yes.
The human values are the same across the universe. As long as they are good citizens, you know what is fair, be successful in their life, be loving, and that's
be
what
honest, respectful,
successful parents and successful children.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you, Dada, for coming all the way here.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Namaste, and for giving your time and your insights. Thank you very much. That's the end of our show for today, and thank you very much for your audience. We'll see you next time with another topic. Bye.